Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to Why Does America Feel So Bonkers? I don't necessarily know what this is going to go into, but you see in the US you get like crazy stories all the time. Obviously you've all heard of Florida Man, but you just get bonkers stories as this video says. And yeah, I guess it's going to be just based off why does America feel like this, and I guess it's going to be down to the news and stuff, right? Or social media just sharing all this stuff, but we're gonna see, because maybe I'm wrong, I'm not too sure, but we're gonna jump into this, hopefully going to enjoy, and yeah, let's get into this video.
My 16th year living in the United States. In just that span of time, I've seen considerable change, from major political upheaval to the nationwide acceptance of social media and briefly fidget spinners. In fact, often most evident on social media is the fact that America, the land of opportunity, is also the land of extremes. Extreme beliefs, extreme accomplishments, extreme weather, extreme wealth, extreme poverty, extreme wildlife, extreme fame, extreme terrain, extremists, and extreme mists. In other words, during my long-held fascination with the United States, it has always struck me as a country with an eye for the dramatic. As you may have guessed from that brief list just now, this is not always a criticism. In fact, as an 8-year-old boy who dreamed of becoming a Goonie, I believed that drama suited America just fine. I also thought America might suit me just fine, especially given my A-level in theatre studies. But after moving to the United States, I quickly learned that not all of America's dramatic qualities lie in the coastal town of Astoria. It was quite literally in the air. During that first December, my nostril hairs froze in the wake of winter. It was unlike any cold I'd ever experienced. Soon after, I invested in a face mask and a nasal trimmer. I imagined it couldn't get any colder, and then...
I guess it's essential, right? Especially in the winter where it's getting so cold, your nasal hairs will just freeze, right? That's a crazy prospect to think of in your day-to-day life for me.
January 2019, it did. A polar vortex reducing the Chicago winter chill to minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
So that's that. Anyway, time to go and check on that water, I think.
There we go. What's that in Celsius, Lawrence? Easy. Minus 45 degrees, or 18 degrees colder than the coldest temperature ever recorded in Britain. On top of that, last year I experienced a thunderstorm, a giant hailstorm, and a tornado warning, all in the space of about...
Okay, so this isn't just the I was all about sort of Florida Man and stuff. This is just the US in general, which is a fair representation because the US has got the most extremes for everything. So yeah, I can see where this video is going now.
4 minutes.
Before we go and find out.
These things don't happen in the UK. So the question is, can the characteristics of a nation be influenced by something as simple as the weather? In some ways, I would say yes. But America's propensity for being a little extra surely isn't the result of one thing, but a perfect storm of many things. When a country has almost 350 million people, it's inevitable that disagreements will arise. I can't help but feel that this is particularly true in a country where the two most popular news networks are known for their bias to opposing ideologies. Thankfully for me, no such memo is lost in the pond thanks to today's sponsor. Ground News. Ground News is a news aggregator that compares pressing topics from
This is the discount code?
Scan my QR code to save 50% on the same limited access Vantage plan that I use. And don't miss their biggest sale of the year. The link is in my description below. But back to the polarization of America. If there's one thing that Americans can agree on, it's that Americans can no longer agree on anything. We are at odds with one another over some very weird things. Just the other day, I heard somebody online arguing against the existence of Finland. And this is not just a slam against US education. Goodness knows it gets enough of that. It's an observation that in a country in which you are free to believe whatever you want, people very often will. And while certain American networks thrive on telling viewers
what have Finland done? What the fuck?
What to think. Social media seems to reinforce what users already believe. Indeed, I moved here at the dawn of the social media age. As platforms became increasingly powered by algorithms, we Americans, like most of the world, came to devour what merely confirmed our bias. And in a country whose First Amendment lends itself strongly to difference of opinion, social media achieves something the printing press never could, keeping the nation polarized on a minute-by-minute basis. I can't help but feel that this is powered in part by the absolute monetization of everything everywhere all the time. time, when people, including myself, are rewarded for high engagement, boundaries will be pushed to the limit in order to eke out those extra dollars. So why not shovel out a good old Finland isn't real post if it results in 20,000 comments?
Heck, you could even argue that this very video, when compared to other Lost in the Pond content, is on the extreme side. So perhaps money is the deciding factor in all of this.
After all, the United States has greater wealth inequality than virtually all of the developed world. Indeed, 8 of the world's top 10 richest people are based in the US, and no, I'm not yet one of them. On the flip side, America's wealth has led to, transformative technological advancement, cinematic entertainment, or, crucially, success at the Olympics. Furthermore, few people realize that the United States is routinely ranked among the most charitable nations on Earth.
So yes, since I moved here, American extremity has done anything but return to the wilderness. Much like the actual wilderness.
Oh, here we go.
You know what you don't have to worry about in England? Animals that will eat you for breakfast.
From memory, the only close call I had was that one time a cow ushered me out of Aunt Deborah's barn. America, on the other hand, has so many deadly species that the suspense films write themselves. Afraid of alligator swamps? Fine. Go live with the rattlesnakes instead. Not your cup of tea? Then why not run off into the woods while smeared in honey? Or reach under the toilet seat in your parents' basement?
And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Lawrence, these animals are rarely fatal to humans.
To which I say, you're right. In fact, perhaps the most extreme thing about such creatures is our irrational fear of them. Despite what you may have learned from the documentary Jaws, only 1 American on average dies from a shark attack each year. Fewer die still from black widow bites. The last such recorded fatality in America occurred the same year Thriller came out.
So that leads me to another question. Have we got it wrong? Is America not quite as extreme as it seems? Well, as somebody who's actively abstained from social media in recent months, I am reminded that there might be some validity to this argument.
Amid all of the Florida Man stories, it's easy to forget that America is filled with people who are just getting on. Once you remove the veil of anonymity afforded by the internet, offline Americans are sometimes even kind, perhaps reluctant to bring up politics, money, or Finland. Because at the end of the day, we're all passengers on the same planet, hurtling around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. And if you think about it, what could be more extreme than that? So, America's genuine problems notwithstanding, I do think the US sometimes feels more extreme than it is because that makes for fantastic ratings. Then again, those same passengers are also descended from other passengers, ones who came to North America at various points in history. The continent's extremely remote location, flanked either side by 2 vast oceans, is significant. It meant that early settlers to the New World faced hardship before they even got here. Heck, the Mayflower took a grueling 66 days to reach North America, often facing rough seas that could have left it.
What the hell is that? The mic is picking that up a lot. Someone warming up their car. That was what that sound is.
Lost in the pond. That was an intentional brand reference for those at the back. Indeed, once they arrived, about half died before the end of winter, unprepared for the very cold that would stiffen my nostril hairs 400 years later. Nonetheless, those that survived persisted, just as others who came here persisted. For me, this same grit is what put men on the moon, men who would bring back grit from the moon. It's a funny old world. And whether you believe the moon landing was real or you believe it was faked by Stanley Kubrick in a film studio, you have to admit that either sounds completely insane, like, we went to the moon, what?
All I'm saying is, I think extremeness, whether good, bad, or indifferent, might be woven into the fabric of American society, and it began 400 years ago. Actually, more like millions.
Because this is a country of enormous, one might even say extreme, natural wonder. Here, you'll find some of the world's largest rivers, lakes, and rock facades that were somehow formed with the heads of US presidents. Nature truly is amazing. So put down your phones and your computers and go out and see America. But not before sharing this video and feeding the algorithm. Until the next video, goodbye.
I mean, it is very true. The US is just extremes with every single thing possible. By the way, thank you for validating the fact that, yes, there are normal people here. Doesn't seem like it at times, but we quietly exist, shaking our heads at the madness. It feels bonkers because it is. I love your content in large part due to your unshakable optimism. We need more Americans like you, Lawrence. I never think of Brits as optimistic, but here we are. Well, there we go. I mean, this is just a sort of, a broad subject of multiple things, but in general, it's just I guess why does the US always see? There's always something going on in the US, right? Like, obviously you've got like major sporting events that will happen every so often, but then you've got horrifying stories that come out, like school shootings and stuff, which I'm not really seeing much recently, to be fair. Which is, I don't know if that's just because it's not been shared as much or not been looking as much, but or just shootings in general. But then you get like some of the most extreme weather. You have some of the most beautiful like sceneries around like your country, multiple different things, and you've got such a variation of them as well. Like you've got tropical areas, you've got like areas that flipping don't have sunlight for 24 hours a day sometimes, like northern parts of Alaska, like Barrow and stuff, at certain parts of the year. So you've got some of the coldest places in the world. You've got deserts. You've got so many different things. You've got like some cities that just have so many, like, this is a random one, but just so many skyscrapers, like insane skylines and stuff, like New York and Chicago. You've got so many just things about your country. You get stories of people doing some of the maddest stuff, like funny stories like Florida Man and stuff. Extreme animals, like he said. I'm just going through what he said pretty much, but it's just a country for everything. To be honest, you've got everything that you can get within this country. But yeah, hopefully you guys found this interesting, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Until next time, like, subscribe, and peace.